Donald Trump, the Gaza Strip, and Chad Ocho Cinco. What the hell does that have in common? It's all on the Stephen A. Smith Show coming up right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. You see that New Orleans background right there? That's New Orleans, Louisiana. That is where I'm coming at you from live, right here for the Stephen A. Smith Show over the digital airwaves of YouTube. As always, I'd like to pause for a moment and thank my subscribers and followers and supporters. We've now eclipsed nearly 1.08 million subscribers in the last 22 months, not to mention the millions of downloads we've recorded over iHeartRadio. I can't thank y'all for the love and support enough. Keep it coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. To continue to like and follow the show, just click the bell to get notified for all of our new content, and you too shall consider yourself the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith Show family. And while you're doing that, make sure to pick up a copy of my New York Times best-selling book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback. Just go to straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. Once again, that's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. I got a lot of stuff to get into today. I am live from New Orleans, where I'm at for Super Bowl week. The Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday evening. Obviously, is the biggest event of the football season, as is always the case when the Super Bowl is going on. So there's a lot of stuff to get into. The NBA's trading deadline is tomorrow afternoon, Thursday afternoon to be exact. And clearly, I'll be touching on a little bit of NBA stuff a little bit later on in the show, so don't think I won't do that for you. But before I do anything else, I got to get into pertinent news because it's incredibly important, because you've got a lot of folks out there, American citizens and beyond, that care about the story that I'm going to tackle first. We're going to get started in the nation's capital, where President Trump and the new administration continue to make headlines, this time in the Middle East. Yesterday, while sitting next to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Donald Trump said the United States of America will, quote, take over, end quote, the Gaza Strip, possibly even with the help of American troops. On top of that, Trump suggested that the Palestinians who live there should leave. Leave, that's what he said. The proclamation was a stunning proposal that would dramatically reorient the Middle East and subject more than 1 million people to further displacement. The proposal would also abandon decades of bipartisan U.S. foreign policy. For those of you who didn't see it, here's a portion of the joint press conference yesterday from the White House. Take a listen.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation again.
Before I get into what I feel about what you just heard the president say and what I heard last night, I appeared on Cuomo's show, Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation. I showed up on Sean Hannity's show as well, but we didn't get into it that much on that platform. But on Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation, we did get into it. And he asked me my thoughts upon hearing what the president of the United States had to say right there. Before I tell you, again, reiterating my position, I thought it was apropos that I replayed and re-aired what I had to say last night. Take a listen. First of all, I think 95% of what he said, if not all 100 of it, is going to be dismissed. I can't imagine the United States of America inserting itself in the American citizens, I happen to be one of them, being okay with that. First of all, we consistently point to our armed forces and our soldiers who represent us and put their lives on the line and make sacrifices for us every single day? How comfortable are we going to be putting them in that kind of situation? I think that's a very dangerous proposition. It's not something that should be entertained. But number two, and more importantly, I think we need to understand how ridiculous the President of the United States sounded tonight. When he was explaining what he was explaining about how the U.S. will own Gaza, he sounded like a real estate agent. Yes, he did. That's exactly what the hell he sounded like. He sounded like he was looking to build Trump casinos or Trump hotels or whatever the hell else he's trying to come up with. It was utterly ridiculous, and I'm going to say that right now, plain and simple. I'll get in to the impact, the potential impact on Palestinians and beyond in just a few minutes, but I just want to reiterate my point about what a disastrous idea I think this is. And before I even say that, let me say this. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't hear me speak about this much. You hear me speak about a lot of things. The one thing you do not hear me ever speak about is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. That is not my lane. That is not my lane. I'm going to be very, very clear about that. Now, there's a lot of things that you could say is not my lane because I'm primarily involved in sports. But I'm a conscientious observer. I'm an American citizen. I vote. I pay attention to the political landscape and the movement that takes place within it. So, as a conscientious observer, I have various opinions about a lot of different things, okay? But this is one issue I never touch because in my lifetime of dealing with so many different things, so many different prejudices and what have you, the volatility that exists within our world, if you're not Jewish or you're not a Palestinian or someone closely connected to it, I've always thought everybody outside of politicians should shut the hell up. Don't even get involved in terms of verbalizing your thoughts, because if you utter the wrong syllable, that can be your ass. And I know that. But when I saw this president speak last night as if he was in the process of facilitating a business deal, that is where my antennas went up and I became incredibly alarmed. You have no business doing that. Do you understand how the Gaza Strip has been ravaged? Do you understand what that area of this world looks like right now in the aftermath of Hamas invading Israel, killing hundreds of people, if not over 1,000, along with other things they are alleged to have done? You have any idea? Have you seen the footage? Have you seen the wreckage? It's been reduced to rubble. It's inhabitable right now. And I get that part. But to go out there and to say that they should just leave, that doesn't even begin to say irresponsible. We're talking about the displacement of potentially more than 1 million people. And this man is there last night with Benjamin Netanyahu, who, by the way, didn't say a word to co-sign that, standing just feet away from him with their dual press conference. And I'm looking at our president and I'm saying to myself, these folks were talking about pulling out of Afghanistan. And when Joe Biden did it, they were in an uproar about it, but over how it was done, not necessarily that it was done. If you listen to political aficionados and those that are fully familiar with what has transpired in the Gaza Strip and beyond, and you hear them talk about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and now that we all know dates back to at least 1947, in terms of the recent friction that has existed over the last several decades, they literally sit up there and say, what you're seeing now in Palestine, what you're seeing now in the Gaza Strip makes Afghanistan look like New Jersey. They said that's how bad it is. And then you're talking about, if you're talking about displacing folks, and you're talking about rebuilding in that area, you got to assume you're thinking that the Palestinians, their leadership, and others associated with them are just going to be okay with that. You really, really think that's going to happen? You really think that's going to happen? Ladies and gentlemen, look at the history. I'm going to read from Israeli-Palestinian conflict. These are notes here based off of research. Obviously, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict dates back to the end of the 19th century. In 1947, the United Nations adopted Resolution 181, known as the Partition Plan, which sought to divide the British Mandate of Palestine into Arab and Jewish states. On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was created, sparking the first Arab-Israeli war. The war ended in 1949 with Israel's victory, but 750,000 Palestinians were displaced, and the territory was divided into three parts: the State of Israel, the West Bank of the Jordan River, and the Gaza Strip. Over the following years, tensions continued to rise in the region, particularly between Israel and Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. Talking about something in the 1956 Suez Crisis and Israel's invasion of the Sinai Peninsula, Egypt, Jordan, and Syria signed mutual defense pacts in anticipation of a possible mobilization of Israeli troops. And then in June 1967, following a series of maneuvers by the Egyptians and their leadership, Israel preemptively attacked Egyptian and Syrian air forces, starting the Six-Day War. After the war, Israel gained territorial control over the Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. It's been going on. It's been going on nonstop. And no president, whether it was Reagan, whether it was Ford, it was Carter, it was Reagan, it was H.W., it was Clinton, it was W., it was Obama, it was Trump, it was Biden, and now Trump again. Nobody has been able to find a resolution to the conflict, but Trump is going to step in there and go like this: hey, we can build it's a beautiful strip. There's a lot of land out there. Look at the view, or the guy, look at the view. You realize the real estate property that exists out there? That's what you're going to say? That's what you're going to open your mouth and allude to? And you're talking about money, and you're talking about being fruitful and multiplying and building properties and basically facilitating employment for people and all of those different things from a business perspective. When anybody associated with it would tell you, it ain't about money. It's about something more than that. They can bring up religion. They can bring up a lot of things. When Trump's first administration was in place, what did they do? They moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. They said, this is where it's at. They took sides in a lot of people's eyes. You really, really think that the folks in the Gaza Strip, the Palestinians, are going to support that kind of movement, that they're going to want to be displaced? Egypt and Jordan already said absolutely not. The anticipation is that the entire Arab world will say absolutely not. What are we doing? I'm not trying to get into this issue to talk about something I really, really don't know about. I'm really addressing this because of the displacement, the potential displacement of over 1 million people. That's why I'm bringing this up. And in order to do it, you're going to have American soldiers. I thought Trump didn't want us involved, but so much in international affairs. I thought he wanted us to limit our exposure to such things. I thought he didn't want American soldiers in harm's way. What do you think is going to happen if he follows through? That's not safe. It's not safe for those American soldiers, and to be honest with you, it's not safe for America, because you'll exacerbate the ire the Arab world already feels for the United States of America. I just thought I needed to say that. I really did. Before I finish up with this subject, I want to get back to Trump's comments, because it opened up a myriad of questions, namely how this land grab would proceed, what legal authority would allow such a move, and who would pay for the effort. He was asked that question. Listen to his answer.
To follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries, one, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, you just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation because they're living in hell. And those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done.
So despite them saying no, Egypt and Jordan, he has a feeling they'll say yes. Really? Really? Ladies and gentlemen, newsflash. Everybody does not believe in what America believes in. When he calls it the Riviera, talking about the potential opportunities that exist there, some people don't care. Some people don't care about all that glitz and glamour. Some people don't care about having five-star lives. Everybody hasn't been Americanized. Everybody's not interested in being Americanized. You're seeing people out there standing in rubble, talking about rebuilding, saying no way on earth do they want America here. And if they feel that way, chances are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, share their thinking. Dangerous times. Calls for serious people and calls for serious dialogue, not rhetoric that's got agenda written all over it. Just a thought. Ain't gonna go any deeper than that because I ain't qualified to do so. But it's obvious. This had better be much ado about nothing. I know Chris Cuomo believes that. I know Bill O'Reilly believes that. I know a host of political aficionados believe he's just bluffing. He's just talking. He's not going to do anything with the Gaza Strip. He understands what it entails. But still, to say it is pretty damn scary. Coming up, more on President Trump, who's set to sign an executive order that would ban transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. I'll get into that. But first, he's a former Pro Bowl wide receiver and now co-host on the hit podcast, Nightcap. The one and only Chad Ocho Cinco himself joins us next right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Don't go away. All right, everybody, listen up. With all the big-time sports action that's happening each and every day, NFL games, NBA games, the Stephen A. Smith Show wants to make sure you are taking advantage of all of it. That's why we partnered with PrizePicks, the largest fantasy sports platform in all the land, to help you cash in on all your sports knowledge. You see, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy app where you pick two or more of your favorite players, and then you select more or less on their projected stats for the game. Choose from any of your favorite players, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, all in the same entry. Then sit back and watch. The list is endless. And now with PrizePicks Flex Friday option, you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. That's right. Every Friday, just look for the protected play. So win or your cash back. And get this, PrizePicks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account during this sports season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. So download the app today and use code SAS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app and use code SAS to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. This message is brought to you by Cologuard, a non-invasive colon cancer screening test. So, I want to talk about colon cancer screening for a second here. I know you might hear that and instantly feel a bunch of dread. You're thinking stuff like, Drinking all of that prep liquid? Having an invasive procedure? Missing work? No thanks. But hold on a second, because there's another option that allows you to skip all that drama. The Cologuard test. It's a one-of-a-kind way to feel more in control of your colon cancer screening through a prescription-based test with none of the prep that's required of a colonoscopy. The Cologuard test is the only FDA-approved, non-invasive option that looks for both altered DNA and blood in your stool, which can indicate the presence of abnormal cells. This test offers convenience and ease of use, and it's delivered right to your door. It's also affordable. Most insured patients pay $0. At this point, come on, don't let your health take a backseat. You're out of excuses. So if you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a Cologuard prescription today at Cologuard.com/podcast. The Cologuard test is intended to screen adults 45 and older at average risk for colorectal cancer. Do not use a Cologuard test if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colorectal cancer. The Cologuard test is not a replacement for colonoscopies in high-risk patients. Cologuard test performance in adults ages 45 to 49 is estimated based on a large clinical study of patients 50 and older. False positives and false negatives can occur. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Lord have mercy, I couldn't wait to talk to my next guest. He was a star in the NFL for many years.
Still is.
He donned a gold jacket before. He's not a Hall of Famer officially yet, but he should be, damn it. He was a bad brother for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now he's a bad brother in our space. There's only one dude on the planet named Ocho Cinco. You know who he is, the man himself, Chad Ocho Cinco. What's up, big time? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be. I have some bones to pick with you, but
Me?
yes, you. Yeah, we get it. Yes, you.
Oh my Lord.
We'll get to that down the line. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be at the house.
Okay.
For one, I haven't been in the wars in a very long time. I think last time we played the Saints
Okay.
years ago, eons ago, when Carson and I were having some good times.
You and Carson Palmer, yes.
Yeah, we was able to bless the Saints and Fred Thomas and some of those boys, Charles Grant at that time. So it's good to be back after years.
I don't want to tell all your business, but where you living these days, man? When you talk about not getting out of the house, man, where you living these days?
I'm in Miami, but this is the point.
It's
Throughout the
it's not a
entirety of
bad
my
place to
career,
be.
Miami's nice.
It's very, very
You ever been to
nice.
Houston?
Yeah, I've
With
been everywhere. I've been everywhere.
I don't go nowhere.
Right?
If it ain't the cigar bar, if it ain't the jazz club, I'm home. If it ain't work, I'm done. So just the fact that something like this comes about where everybody's going to be under one umbrella, it excites me. I get to see faces like you and everybody else, the former players, the current players. It's dope.
Now, what the hell were you doing at Super Bowl week media row, asking questions for the CW? What's going on? You trying to be a reporter now?
I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. I'm trying to diversify my portfolio. So I love Nightcap. I love what I do inside the NFL. I was actually a cameraman as well. I was a cameraman as well.
So you're trying to take jobs from cameramen too now? That's what we're doing?
I need as many jobs as possible.
Why?
I'm trying to buy a mega yacht.
A mega yacht?
Yes, sir.
Now, what's a mega yacht?
Mega yacht. Something like Jerry Jones has one.
Well, you know he's a billionaire, right?
Yeah, Khan has one.
Okay, you know that's a billionaire, right?
I'm trying to reach a B2.
Okay. Have you reached the M as opposed to the B?
Yeah, the M's still there.
The M's still there.
Listen, I don't spend shit.
You that cheap?
Yeah, cheap.
Your glasses ain't cheap.
Oh, these are replicas.
Okay, the replica.
I'm
So
lying.
they're not the real.
I'm
Yeah,
lying.
you damn right you lying.
I'm
You know
lying.
better than that. Stop
Yeah.
that nonsense. Stop that nonsense. So how have you been like in life, Chad? Because you're one of the rare former athletes
Yes, sir.
that, as much as you know about the sport, as outspoken as you've been about sports, when people talk to you, you're so interesting, it's really not that big of a deal to talk with you about sports. They want to talk to you about life.
Yes.
Have you realized that you've evolved to that point, and was that intentional?
You know what? It wasn't intentional. I think I make people very comfortable. I make people very comfortable. Obviously, what the media perceive me to be, when you meet me in person, is completely different. You know, what you saw on the field was merely a character. Everybody thinks I'm cocky. They think I'm arrogant. And people don't understand was once I touch the field, that's a completely different person as opposed to who you see off the field.
But you are cocky. I wouldn't say arrogant in a
Nah,
negative way.
not
But
really.
you are.
Nah,
You don't lack confidence.
I think that's the wrong C word.
Okay.
I wasn't cocky. I was convinced.
Convinced.
Yeah.
You were convinced.
I was convinced because I had already put the work in. I already put the work in, so I understood. Let's have some fun with it. You know, that's when I got into character because the work had already been done.
playing football, obviously you were an all-world receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals,
NDB.
6-time Pro Bowler, no question about
And
it.
kicker.
Okay, I'm taking wide receiver, damn it. I'm going to stick to that,
Okay.
right? When you were playing for the New England Patriots, not so much. Scored a 21-yard pass in the Super Bowl, but people saw you with Tom Brady. They had expected more. That hadn't happened.
As did I.
As you reflect on your time, not in the NFL period, because we know what you did in Cincinnati,
Right.
in New England, and we're here at the Super Bowl. When you came to the Super Bowl, it wasn't about you.
No.
All right? When you think about that, how does that make you feel?
It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. I understood where I was at that time in my career. I understood, obviously, me getting to the Patriots somewhat kind of late. Obviously, not being able to get that maturation and chemistry together with Brady. I really wanted training camp. I really needed mini camp. I needed all those times and hours to put in that comfortability and trust where he could trust me. And then, obviously, people always talk about, oh, well, the system, he didn't learn the system. Listen, the system is still the same even today. The only thing that changes from team to team is the verbiage. So that had nothing to do with it. It's just about him trusting me and knowing where I'm going to be all the time. Same thing with Carson. We also had issues our first year when he was there. Year 2, it got better. Year 3, it got better. I just wasn't able to hit the ground running like I expected to, playing with a quarterback of that magnitude. Also, what people need to understand, the offense with the Patriots is run from the inside out.
Right.
The number 1 is your tight end. Sometimes the number 2 is the back coming out the backfield. Then you have Gronk. Then you have Aaron Hernandez. Then you got Edelman. Then you got Wes Welker. Well, hell, ain't no room for me any goddamn way in that offense. Now, if your last name is Moss, that's different. He's special. I could never be that. If I was to be born and recreate myself again, I could never be that. So that's why he was able to put up the numbers that he did, because he's an animal. That's something like Moss comes around once every 20 years.
Right. While I'm on that subject, top 3 receivers in the history of the National Football League, according to Chad Ocho Cinco, is who? You got to start with Jerry Rice, man.
Who?
You got to start with Jerry Rice.
No, I'm starting. T.O.
T.O. number 1?
T.O.
Over
Randy.
Jerry Rice?
Oh, wait, you're basing everything off of numbers, right?
Well, I'm not just numbers. I'm talking about what we saw on the field, too.
I mean,
He's universally recognized as the greatest receiver.
Yeah, the greatest receiver of all time. But for me,
T.O.'s top 3.
He's top 3. So it's 1A, 1B, 1A, 1B, Moss, T.O. Either way you go.
Okay.
And obviously Jerry is in there, but Jerry is in a class of his own, is how I put him, based on what he was able to do in such not a short amount of time, but consistently throughout the entirety of his career. But I just love it. Something about, I wasn't able to watch Jerry play. I played against him once when he was at Oakland. Yeah. But something about watching T.O. and watching Moss up close, my own eyes, like I saw it for years.
Right.
We would never see nothing like that.
When you think about that, using the analogy that you just used as specifically as it pertains to the familiarity, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, is that the advantage, really? When you think about Patrick Mahomes and his greatness, Travis Kelce and his greatness, is that the advantage, the fact that they've been together all of these years, the camaraderie, the continuity, the chemistry, etc.? Is that what they have over everybody else?
You could put a blindfold on Patrick Mahomes. You could put a blindfold on Travis Kelce. You could call a play, and he'll know exactly what Kelce's going to be. That's what happened. Years of chemistry, trust, understanding where your player is going to be at every time. Like they got to that point. Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison. The same thing. When you had that continuity, it's very easy. Now, how special Patrick Mahomes is you take away Cheetah and you still win 2 Super Bowls.
Take away Tyreek Hill.
You take away Kelce whenever he decides to go. Nothing's going to change.
You don't think anything's going to change even when Travis Kelce goes away?
Nothing's going to change
Because Patrick Mahomes is that great.
He's that great. He's that great. If Andy Reid is there, it's nothing's going to change.
Do you have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
You know what? I think that's a tough one.
Eagles are a better team.
They're better. They're a better team collectively.
Right.
But there's a guy that wears number 15 that could overcome the greatness that is the Eagles, especially defensively. Spags has to come into the game. You know what? If Jalen Hurts beats me, I can live with that. If A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith beat me, I can live with that.
Can't let it be Saquon.
26 ain't fucking beat me. It ain't happening.
Can't let Saquon beat you.
Can't happen. And that's going to set the tone. It set the tone last week when they played. Saquon, first
play,
series,
60 yards.
60 yards. That set the tone. I knew the game was over. It was over. That's it.
And so basically you're saying the Eagles' only chance is for Saquon Barkley to get loose?
Yeah, absolutely. If Saquon plays well, if Saquon is able to determine the game, especially from an offensive standpoint, and take the pressure off Jalen Hurts, the Eagles will win it.
You can't see Jalen Hurts taking the bull by the horn and saying, I know that's Patrick Mahomes, but this is me. If Saquon Barkley, if they neutralize him in any way, I got the capabilities to make it happen.
We've seen Jalen do it before.
Yes, we have.
We've seen it do it before. And he can do it when you have 2 number 1 receivers. That ain't no 1 and 2.
That's right.
Them 2 number 1 receivers,
There you go.
they can get it done.
Okay. So again, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs or Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Eagles in a close one. Matter of fact, a nail biter where Jalen Hurts has the ball at the end of the game to take the Eagles down and win.
Let's transition to Chad Ocho Cinco.
That's me.
That's you. I love Nightcap.
I love it.
I'm proud of you and my boy Shannon Sharp. Club Shay Shay in the house. Got to give him love where love is due. How did that come about? How did you and Shannon end up pairing with one another?
You know, Doug. You know Doug, obviously.
Doug?
My manager.
Okay.
Doug gave me a call and said, you know what, while we in LA, Shannon wants to meet with you. He had some ideas about a podcast he was doing. Shannon Sharp. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I want to take that meeting. We met in Beverly Hills. I forgot the name of the restaurant. It's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Roscoe's.
Right. Probably BOA.
Yeah.
Boa.
Uncle's might have been.
Might have been.
I don't know what it was.
That's Shannon. We'll
Uncle's bougie.
that is a little bougie.
That's not me.
Uncle's bougie.
Yeah, he bougie. We sat down for 5 minutes.
Right.
He gave me the game plan. I said, where I sign. I ain't need to hear no more. I don't need no speech. I don't need to hear nothing. He told me the game plan. I said it would be perfect. We polar opposites. Complete opposites.
How are y'all opposites? Tell the world. I know the answer to this question because I know him and I know you. But I want you to tell the world. I don't want to interpret it for y'all.
We are complete opposites. He's very structured in all that he does. I wake up and just go. Just go. Everything about him. Everything has to be perfect. On time. I'm kind of on time. I'm on late sometimes.
Yeah, he got in your ass one day
you got
for
me
being
on time.
late. I remember that.
Yeah,
Everybody remember that.
But you know what you get when the camera's on. You know what you get. It's special. It's gold moments. You know. He's very serious about every goddamn thing. I don't take life too serious. I don't. Day by day. If I have a bad day, okay, you know what? We're gonna try this again tomorrow. Everything with Unc, it has to be perfect. It has to be aligned. It has to be planned. You know, he got a planner. He got a team of people. I ain't got nothing. I got Ryan. I got Doug, and I just go. And I think that's why it works so well.
Do you find yourself listening to him more and more and viewing him, I don't want to say as a father figure, maybe a big brother figure in that regard?
Yeah, most of the time. Absolutely. Even as old and experienced as I am in life, I listen to some of the things he says and I always take notes. I do it during the show. If he says something that I like, I take it, I use it, I embed it in my memory bank, and see what I can take and add it to my life.
Do you find that he listens to you?
Probably not.
Because he is a stubborn brother.
Yeah,
he listens to me.
Listen,
he listens to me a little bit.
He's very stubborn because if he listened to me, it's been 2 years. He'd be married by now. He'd have
By the way, I'm glad you brought that up. Why the hell do you be trying to encourage him to get married?
Because he needs somebody. I don't want to see him old and lonely.
I don't want to see him old and lonely either. But this is a brother that looked at me and told me I got my dogs. I'm good. That's what he told me.
No.
And he said, you know what he said to me? He said, if the dog, this Shannon Sharp, I'm telling on him right now. Do you know he said to me, if the dogs are barking at her, he knows something wrong. Do you know he said that to me? He said the dogs are barking at her. I said, what's something wrong with you?
Listen,
but I love them.
Yeah, the dogs can't cook.
That's right.
The dogs can't cook. You know, Sunday dinner, they can't do nothing. Thanksgiving, holidays, you know, you want to buy presents. It's different. It's different having a woman present, someone, a support cast. Dogs are great. They're loyal.
Right.
But listen, even somebody else come along with some food, they'll take the food from their hand. He need a woman in his life.
Do you have a woman in your life, Chad Ocho
Me?
Cinco? Do you have one?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
I got a little something.
I got a little something.
Yeah, I got a little
you know, this is a marriage down the line, bro.
Yeah, it is. It was supposed to happen this month. Matter of fact, it's gonna happen this month. It's gonna happen this month.
You ready for that commitment? You tried this before. You ready for that commitment again?
I don't have a choice.
What do you mean you don't have a choice?
I don't have a choice. I have a good one. Because
okay. I'm just saying, but you said you have a choice. I mean, I was like, what you trying to say?
Listen, when you find a wife, when a man finds a wife, you find a good thing. Now
That's biblical right there.
I got a good one. Now I messed up a little bit. I messed up a little bit.
With this one?
Yeah.
You messed up already?
Nah, yeah. Well, it's been 5 years. Now, have you been able to follow?
Can we change this? I don't want to get you in trouble. I want you happy, bro.
I'm good.
You sure?
Oh, you already know who it is. I have a question for people that are going to see this. Have you been able to follow the 10 Commandments? Every last one of them? And be perfect?
No.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
But you, I mean, I'm talking about a long time ago. Long time ago.
Okay.
Didn't take my Bernie Mac voice. I'm not talking about right now, present.
Right.
I don't want you telling on yourself.
No, I'm not. No, I have to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to the people.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not perfect.
All right.
I try to walk one foot in front of the other, but sometimes I veer off track and fall. But I get myself back up, dust myself off. take responsibility, and keep it moving.
So if that's the case, why are you getting married?
I need that structure and discipline.
You need the structure and
I
discipline.
need that
Are you
team.
saying that you don't have the structure and discipline without the right woman in your life? Is that what you're trying to say? That's
Yeah,
what you bring to
because you understand what that individual brings to your life and understand how great things have been going since this individual has entered your life, and you take that into account.
Damn it, let's have a
Matter of fact, you
Damn
know,
it, let's-
matter of
let's-
fact, you
go
know
ahead.
what? You ever had a house?
Oh, of course I have. I
But
have one.
You'll never have a home until you got a woman. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So what's the difference between a house and a home? Luther.
You-
That's a Luther Vandross. What's the difference? What's the difference?
You'll never understand the difference in a house and a home until you have a woman, and she'll show you what a home is. We
And
can all get a house.
And so your woman showed you what a home is.
Oh yeah. Not along with home, checks and balances.
In Miami? She pulled that up in Miami?
Yeah.
Really?
I swear to
How
God.
she do that? How she do that?
If you see her, you'll understand.
Didn't I see her?
Yeah, y'all met. Y'all met.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Praise God.
Praise God.
He's good.
That is a very good point. So let's talk about this for a second here. Let's stay on this subject. So because on Nightcap, y'all touch on a lot of things. It
Yeah.
ain't just sports. I mean, football's automatic.
it's cool.
Between you
Anything
two
else,
and
yeah.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
listen, I always say, I'm not one, you know me, you've known me for years. I ain't one of those, I'm a reporter.
Yes, sir.
I ain't one of those cats that think I know more football than football play. I
Right.
don't do that. So, it don't matter what I know. Shannon, Orlovsky, all my boys, Ryan Clark, who you work for on the NFL show with Belichick and the crew. All of them teach me football, right?
Right.
I'm a reporter. That's what I do. But y'all talk about everything
Yeah.
on Nightcap.
I think that's what makes it so great.
I think it does too. It's also dangerous, though.
Yeah. It's a good thing.
You think it's dangerous?
Yeah, danger is good.
Shannon
because-
Sharp can deal with danger.
Yeah, he can.
He can deal with that kind
Oh,
of danger.
listen.
They talk about Megan Thee Stallion and toes and
Yeah,
all of this other
yeah,
stuff. I mean,
yeah.
what's up?
Oh yeah, he can.
And you get him. You do that to him.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
break him
yeah,
down.
I'm trying to bring something else out of him, because I need Unc to evolve. Unc hasn't evolved yet. He's stuck, in the past time, but women can't do this, women can't do that. I say, Unc, you got to evolve, man. You got to start, enjoying women from head to toe. You hear
Enjoying
me?
them from head to toe.
Yeah, head to toe. He got too many goddamn rules. Too many.
Too many rules.
Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna bring them up.
I'm not. Don't bring up the rules.
Yeah, I ain't
Don't
gonna
bring up the
them
rules.
up. Like,
What are your rules?
me? I
Do
don't,
you have any rules?
I don't have any rules.
Zero. So a woman could do anything. Your woman could do anything.
Yeah.
Wait,
Whoa.
whoa. That's what I'm
Now you talking
asking
about
you.
Anything to me? You mean, or just anything in general?
I'm just thinking anything in general.
See, this is what I don't like. This is another thing about this. Now, listen to me real close.
I'm listening.
One of the things where we fall as men is thinking when we're with someone, that's a sense of ownership.
That's true. You can't control a woman.
You never can.
You try that, you automatically
no,
gonna
no.
lose it. Maybe
And-
now, maybe later, but
maybe.
she ain't gonna
Down
keep
the line,
it.
yeah,
She
yeah.
gonna do what she gonna do.
Anyway,
That's
so
right.
I never view us being together as ownership. Now, you can do what you want to do. You know right from wrong. And I'm not going to say nothing, but when I see it, just understand, if you want to play games, we're going to make it a comedy show. I ain't chasing behind you. I'm not asking you to stop. I pay attention. I'm very observant. I'm detailed. I'm very sharp here through experience. I've been doing this for a long time, 20, 25 years in the game. So if you play, okay, I ain't going to say nothing. So therefore, when you say, do I have any rules? No, I ain't got no rules because you already know what time it is. So I don't need to say nothing. I'm not scolding you. I ain't got no instruction booklet. I ain't got no instruction manual. You know what you're not supposed to be doing and what you should be doing.
Why should a woman want Chad Ocho Cinco?
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Nah, you
You
shouldn't.
gonna say that with the cameras rolling?
Yeah, why the cameras
Really?
rolling?
That's what you're gonna say
Yeah,
on yourself?
You shouldn't want any man.
What do you mean you should want any man? I don't understand that. You have to explain that. What do you mean a woman should want any man? What does that mean?
You shouldn't want.
I believe I should be wanted. You don't believe you should be wanted?
Nah. I think any woman that's dealing with, that has her stuff going on, you shouldn't want a man.
What should she want, Chad?
Mike,
Huh?
I don't like
What
the way
should
I don't
she
like the
want?
way I worded that. She shouldn't need a man.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. She shouldn't need a man.
Okay, but ain't nothing wrong
Now,
with wanting.
wanting, you should be
Yes.
able to have an option. Most of the time, when you don't have an option, then you just take any goddamn body. Anything that look good, oh, I'm going.
A woman is about to commit to spending the rest of her life with you.
You know what? That's a good thing. You know why that's a good thing?
Why?
Because I don't know what the next day is going to bring. I'm fun. I'm exciting.
So you treat every day like it could be its last.
Always. And you never know. You never.
Would she say that about you?
Probably, because you
No,
never.
no, I ain't say probably.
No, she would.
She would say that?
You don't know what to expect. Day to day, you don't know what to expect.
So you treat every day like it's your last.
Yes, sir.
Is that the advice you would give men, bro?
Yeah.
That's what you would tell men?
Yeah. I would
Treat every day like it's their last?
Yeah. Yeah. I would tell you that. I know you got a special woman in your life.
Yeah, I got
Keep it
somebody.
exciting.
I got somebody.
Yeah, keep it exciting. Keep it fun.
She's not complaining. I
Yeah.
think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
When you get married.
What look? No, you ain't interviewing me. Don't even try.
I'm
Don't even
just-
try. You ain't even
I'm just
you
asking.
don't even try to interview.
Okay,
me.
okay, I'm just-
It'll happen when it's gonna happen.
Okay.
I don't publicize my business the way that you do, and
Right.
that's another thing. Why don't you?
Live a private life.
I live a very private life.
I don't.
Why not?
Who the fuck am I? I'm
Yeah, just
Ocho.
saying,
I ain't nobody.
Listen, I'm not hiding, but everything ain't everybody's business. Doesn't it annoys? I'm gonna be real. It annoys the living fuck out of me
It does?
when I see people
Mhm.
like somebody get in trouble. You know, your relationship ain't working out, and you on social media telling everybody about
Mm.
it. It ain't everybody's business.
Yeah.
What you doing that for?
You're right.
Why?
I've never lived privately, whether it be football, before that, before relationships. I've always been out and open. So I think that's why people can relate to me so well. I'm going through the
Do you
same
think-
issues you.
I got news for you. I don't know if people relate to you that well.
They do. How
I
could you
think
not?
people love you. There's a difference. Because, like you said, you live every day like it's your last.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you. We were in Vegas the last time we saw each other face to
Yes, sir.
face, right? People that you didn't know, I introduced you to a couple of people. You hugged them like you were damn Cuba Gooding Jr. and
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire.
I treat everybody like that.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
treat everybody like that as if I've known them for 30 years.
You haven't-
Always.
but you haven't always
Always.
been that way, have you?
Yeah,
You've
always.
always
even,
been that
even,
way.
even when I was playing.
Mm.
Even when I was playing, I was the same way because the media was able to control the perception on how I was viewed. I had to take that back. Yeah, I was the villain. I enjoyed the villain, but that's just a character. Now, if you meet me in person, people say the same thing. But damn, who the hell is this? Oh, this is the real me. This is really me. Anytime you saw me on Sunday, you know, like Superman. I'm not saying I'm Superman. I'm just saying I got in the character. Fun, energetic, having fun, not following any of the NFL rules without breaking them. You know, playing the game the way I felt it should be played. It's the game is about entertainment. It's about having fun.
Do you feel like the NFL is lacking that right now?
No, because
You think they got enough characters in the NFL?
They got it. It's nobody to the extent of doing the stuff I was doing, you know, but it's there, allowing the players to show their individualism, the players being able to celebrate, you know, have some fun. They don't have anyone as brash because I did all my stuff leading up to the game. The trash talking, the sending gifts to the secondaries, you know, through FedEx.
Yes, sir.
So that stuff just leading up to the game. They're not as openly Richard Sherman-ish. You know what I mean? Not like that. But it's still fun though.
What do you think the NFL has done to the game itself to harm the game or to big up and promote the game in a very positive way?
I think some of the things they're trying to do globally is big. It's big. Obviously, playing in London is big. I think Brazil is big. Going to some of these places where it's dominated by soccer, trying to grow it that way.
Showing them that there's another football that they should entertain.
Yeah, they should, and I think it's becoming big. Being able to grow the brand of football outside of the States is going to be huge for the NFL long term in the future. As far as harming the game, which they consider keeping it safe, the kickoff rules, players not being defensively, players being handicapped, not being able to play the way they're taught to play since kids. But again, player safety is first, as they say. Other than that, it's watered down the game of football in which we grew up watching. Football. Receivers today, they all pretty, going across the middle, jury $100,000, $20,000 worth of jury on why you playing. Man, can you imagine doing that in the 2000s?
No. What's going to happen?
Man, all that's coming off. Man, let me take this with me, please. Thank you. You're too pretty. You know,
And
so
you're thinking that's bad for the game.
in a sense, but everything evolves. Everything has to evolve. You know, we all had sidekicks at one point. Now we all got iPhones. You know, and it's just everything has to evolve, including the game.
You're the guy that sent Pepto-Bismol to an opposing defensive secondary, because you sent
gonna
that
make
to
them
them because
sick.
you said
Yeah.
they're
I was
gonna
gonna make
get
them
sick
sick. Yeah.
covering you.
Yeah.
That was you. That you actually did that.
Yeah, I remember sending. It was Heinz Field at the time. Is it still Heinz Field with the Steelers?
It's not. That's not the name of the site. I think it's Central. Or
They
whatever
changed it?
but it's not Heinz Field anymore.
Right. I remember
It's in Pittsburgh.
I remember sending them ketchup. We played the Falcons one time. I had some child please shirts that I had going. I sent them. It just made it fun. And then the players, they loved it.
Right.
The coaches loved it. The referees, what you got for us today? Everybody loved it because they understood nothing I was doing was in a malicious manner. It's all about having fun and competing. That's one thing. I'm coming to compete. I don't care what our record may be. I'm showing up.
Right.
That's it.
Is it true that you actually use the urine of teammates to help heal your injuries?
Yeah, that's why I
very
never
nasty.
got hurt. It's not nasty.
That's very nasty.
It's called a home remedy.
That's
Home remedy.
nasty. What does that mean? A home remedy from
home
who?
remedy.
Who came up? Grandma? Who
Yeah,
came
my
up with
grandma.
that?
My grandma told me that.
Really?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Other people's urine?
that's the only way to get it done. That urine, the toxins inside it, brings all that swelling out right away, in less than 24 hours.
And then you go home and all of that stuff.
You warm
take
it up,
your
you
feet,
put it in the microwave,
in bed
put
and
it
stuff
in
like
there.
that. Your woman, and she never had a problem with that.
No.
Because I mean, you're all about pleasing your woman, right? You always about making
Well,
her
actually,
happy, right?
I was focused.
You was focused at the time.
Back then,
so you
during
were
that
sleeping
time.
alone?
Yeah, I
Did
was
you use
sleeping
in bed alone after
Right.
putting your feet in
It
urine?
might have been 2 or 3 women at that time. Yeah. You know, we got to think back then. I was doing amateur porn too as a side hustle.
Oh my God.
You know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, while I was playing.
And even if I did know it, I wouldn't tell on you like that.
I mean,
I wouldn't want to do it.
hey,
This
this
Mr.
is back-
about to be married.
I know, but I have a past.
I mean,
We all have a past.
That's a very promiscuous
No, it's
past.
not promiscuous. It's not
How
promiscuous.
the hell is engaging in porn not promiscuous?
Well, how else am I supposed to perfect my craft? Am I tripping?
So you engaged in soft porn to perfect your craft.
It was amateur.
amateur porn.
Yeah,
amateur porn.
Can I tell you why that happened?
Please feel free.
Small story. I was in high school at the time,
Oh Lord.
and I was losing my virginity. So we had engaged in horizontal activity.
Yes. Not vertical.
No, it was horizontal.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it was vertical.
Go ahead. Keep going.
And she got to the point where we were in action, and she said in my ear, "Go deeper. Stay with me now." And what hurt me is I was already all the way in. So I had ran out of pee-pee. And that is what caused me to get into amateur porn so I could perfect my craft in the pelvic area so I would never have to hear that again.
You do understand the cameras are rolling.
Yeah,
You understand? I mean, do you really, really want people to know this? I mean, I can edit it out, bro.
No,
You don't have to.
don't edit it out. I told you I don't have a private life. I'm here to share my stories and my shortcomings. Back then, I've had surgery since then. So I'm good.
So what you're trying to say is that who you are now
Yeah, completely
is
different.
manufactured because it was surgically enhanced.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And And I'm comfortable saying that. And I can tell you that this is something you would never be able to get on TV. That's why we on your show.
Surgical enhancement, we usually hear about females with that stuff.
Right.
Not men.
So why can't we? Why can't we? I want to feel better about myself. I want to be able to walk around the beach in my Speedo without being laughed at.
And you're saying that at one time you were being laughed at until you had surgery.
Do you
and
know
now
what
you're
that
no longer
feels like? Like
I mean, I'm not one who needed surgery,
okay,
Chad.
I
I
so
just
you
did
don't,
it.
you don't
I
understand.
mean,
You don't understand how it feels.
no,
Like,
I
listen,
don't. I don't.
I listen. I just some women they get enhancements to feel better about themselves, and I need to do the same thing. Do you know what that does to me mentally? That hurts.
It hurt.
That I'm talking about here.
Now you have to understand. Some would look at you, and they would say, "Hey, we saw you crying over the Bengals." So you talk about
I
what
still
hurt
cry.
you. Do you talk about what hurt you?
Yeah.
I mean, when something like this hurts you, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not that big of a deal because every
Actually,
damn thing seems to hurt you. If you're
does.
crying over the Bengals,
Right. So I can't fix that. I can't go play for the Bengals right now. But I can fix myself.
How long was the surgery, man?
It took about 15 minutes.
Surgery was 15 minutes.
Yeah, only $8,000.
Excuse me.
Only $8,000. So I went from 3 to 11 inches like this.
So you just gonna tell the world you were 3 inches? I didn't ask you that question. You know,
I know.
You didn't have to say
But
that.
I'm just trying to get better context on where I was to where I am now.
How the hell could that happen in 15 minutes? It got me curious
Yeah, I
now,
don't-
and I don't have that problem.
I don't understand.
But
I
how
don't-
did that happen in 15 minutes?
I don't understand technology. I don't know how that works. I just know from the time I went in, anesthesia, I was asleep, I woke up, looked, wow, that was it.
Did you tell your lady you had this enhanced surgery?
Yeah, I told her. Because I
How
love when I
does
meet
she
with,
feel about it being a manufactured thing as opposed to a naturally born DNA kind of thing?
well, listen, I don't say anything about other women that change their DNA that they're born with. They like to enhance themselves as well, you know. And so she understood.
Do you have any issue with a woman who chooses to enhance?
No, no. Whatever you need to do to feel better about yourself, more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, I'm all for it.
I don't have a problem with it
Yeah, I
either.
don't. Yeah. You sure?
I really, I
You
don't,
good?
I don't.
I
I
mean,
mean, that's not
natural
what
is
that's
cool.
not
I
what
don't-
I'm with.
Right.
But I don't have a problem with
Right.
it as long as it's done right.
Right. Right.
It has to be done right.
It-
If you're gonna pay money
Right.
and have yourself enhanced in any way,
Right.
you understand? You gotta do it
Right.
right.
And
Don't
it's-
waste the
and-
time and the energy if you're gonna do it wrong.
The best place to do it is in Houston.
How come you didn't do it in Miami?
Huh?
How come you didn't do it in Miami? Miami or what's
No,
wrong with
the
Miami?
guy in Houston, he's A1, A plus. Yes, sir.
How old are you now, Chad?
Me 57.
You're 57 years of age. How old or young do you feel?
Right now, honestly,
Yeah.
about 24.
Right.
I look 24 too.
Why is that? Why do you feel like you're 24 years of age?
My skin routine.
I'm talking energy and stuff like that because you got
energy,
the wife,
yeah,
happy life,
energy,
my wife.
really
I mean,
good, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Right. I mean, I love the whole happy wife, happy life. But God's plan was a happy man.
and you're happier now. How happy are you now compared to how you've been over these
Just about 3
years?
years, I've always been happy, Steve. Like, I'm always been happy. I had one slip up. I was sad. But I was at peace with that. And I understood, what are we going to do going forward? How do we bounce back?
Without getting into it, I'll tell you what I felt. That one time when you were sad. I felt like what saddened you is that people gave up on you.
Yeah.
That people canceled you out. They thought that you were finished. Am I right in saying that? That's
Yes,
what
sir.
saddens you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And obviously during that time, the opportunities, well, no one could touch me. You just couldn't.
Right.
You couldn't. And I knew that wasn't me. And I don't want to give a table legs right
Sure.
now.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to.
But God has favor. I'm not a overly religious, spiritual person, but I grew up in the church. Grandma prayed for me. Mama prayed for me. They passed on. They're going on. Now I have other people praying for me while the blessings are still coming.
Before I let you get on out of here, what does the future hold for you now? I mean, I'm looking at Nightcap, but clearly your potential isn't limited to that.
No.
I mean, Nightcap, I'm real proud of y'all. I love, I've gotten to know Shannon. That's my brother right there. Got mad love for him. Oh, you and I go back years. You gave me, I was one of the few people you gave an interview. I came to your house in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Remember that? So I'm thinking about the things that you're doing there, which is big. And obviously there's a contract negotiations going on. Y'all gonna handle that.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah,
handle
most
that
definitely.
business,
Most
no
definitely.
question.
Yes, sir.
What else are you planning on doing for yourself? I've seen you on Monday Night Football commercials. I see you doing NFL shows. What's in the future plans for Chad Ocho Cinco, bro?
Being on First Take.
Well, I brought you on First Take. Can I tell you what your problem was?
What?
And I'm gonna tell Shannon this too. You can't do it from Nightcap. It's in the morning. Yes.
Right.
So you got to have a morning feel.
Right. I got a
First
morning.
Take.
I wake up at 5 in the morning.
But I'm happy. I'm happy to have you back on. I told you.
No. I don't want to be on. I don't want to make an appearance.
You want to come on
I
permanently.
want to come on permanently. Now I don't know what days we can get this. We can get this done now.
I can talk to you. No, we don't have to get it done now.
we can do it. What's the boss man name?
I got you. You're listening to him.
Okay, I'm talking about the other boss man.
Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts. If you see this, now I don't know. We can get this done right now contractually. I can do 1 or 2 days. I know Cam is on Fridays, right?
Cam is on Friday. Shannon's on Monday and Tuesdays.
Okay, I could do Wednesdays. I could do Wednesday and Thursday.
Mad Dog Russo's on Mondays. I mean, on Wednesdays.
I like him.
Damn right you do. Everybody does.
We can go at it.
You know what I'm saying? You and Mad Dog Russo.
We can go at it.
Shit, might not be any room for me. That
Yeah,
ain't
well.
possible. That ain't possible.
I mean, 3's a crowd.
That's right. Which means you can't come on Wednesdays. Because we already got me and Mad Dog on Wednesdays.
But that's just
which
2
means you got to
people.
do Thursdays.
Let's do Thursdays.
We'll talk about
Can
it.
we get that signed and
We'll
delivered?
talk about it.
Everybody heard that, right?
We'll talk about it.
Thursday?
I'm not afraid. I got love for you. I'm gonna get you on. It's not a problem.
No, I'm talking about
I
entirety.
understand that, but you got to remember,
What?
I'm gonna dictate the studio. You and you gonna look the
No.
part, my
I
brother.
want to come.
Oh, you gonna come to New York?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's a 2-hour flight
Well,
from Miami.
you also got to remember, sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not.
Well,
So
listen,
I got to be on the road too, because I do a lot of NBA football stuff. I ain't got time to be. In
I
studio
want to be
every
in
week.
studio. Every week.
You want to do that.
I want to be in studio every week.
That, I must admit, that makes you a more attractive proposition.
Yes, I want to be in studio every week. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem flying.
When's the wedding date?
Huh?
You heard me. When's the wedding date, damn it?
You want to ask?
Huh? No, I ain't
No,
gonna
I
ask
think
you
that would be good.
No,
This would be
I
good for
don't-
TV.
I'm just saying. Don't, I got you. You understand? I'm just asking you.
It's perfect. You can't ask me. I don't control nothing. I just do the paying.
You just do it.
Yeah.
So that's the fiance you calling right now?
Hold on. Somebody want to ask you a question.
Hello, how you doing? How's everything going? See, everybody, you on camera right now, girl. You on camera right now, so everybody watching you. I'm interviewing him right now, and I'm asking him when's the wedding date, because he over here bragging about he about to get married. So I said, when's the wedding date?
Well, first, we need to ask who he's getting married. We need to know, because you got people thinking that you about to get married to somebody else.
He's about to get married to somebody else?
No, that's what the people thinking, because he said, if it ain't her, I don't know who, it's going to be somebody, so we need to clear that air first. Ask him, Stephen A.
Well, obviously,
What you want me to ask?
We called your ass.
He called you. I didn't dial this number. He called you and gave me the phone. What you want me to
It
ask?
sounds like she's trying to dodge the. What you trying to?
She sound like you trying to dodge.
I mean,
What you want me to ask him, girl?
When the marriage date.
When's the marriage date?
I mean, she said it the first time. Why would I need to say
He
it?
said you said it the first time. Why would he needed to say it?
That was to ask him when is the real marriage date.
When is the real marriage date?
After we finish therapy sessions.
Therapy.
That's when it is.
You full of shit.
No, we in therapy for real.
Come on now.
I swear, I promise you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. All right. Bye. Good seeing you, sweetie.
Yo. Okay, I see the bob. I like your lashes.
My stylist just came.
For real, what's that? Hybrid classic mega volume? What size? That's 15, 16?
13, 14.
Okay, I like it. They did a good job. I see your freckles popping.
You so silly. You look nice.
Huh?
You look nice.
You trying to get in my panties.
Already did.
Let me hit you back. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, we cool. We ain't together right now, though.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm not even asking. I ain't going there. Chad Ocho Cinco, ladies and gentlemen. He's a wild boy. Nightcap in the house in the daytime with Stephen A. I kind of like it.
I see y'all Thursday. First take.
Thursday. Maybe. Coming up, President Trump has a new executive order targeting transgender athletes competing in women's sports. I'll get into that. Plus, I got some news for you on Kevin Durant as well. Stick around. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show and watching it as well. Back with more in a minute. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airways of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Before I get into Trump and the latest executive order that he's handed down that I got to touch on, I wanted to touch on news emanating out of Phoenix, Arizona, involving the one and only Kevin Durant, star for the Phoenix Suns. Rumors were swirling over the last couple of days that Kevin Durant would possibly be on the trading block because the Phoenix Suns, unable to get Bradley Beal to waive his no-trade clause, would have no choice but to trade Kevin Durant in order to get some additional compensation to the franchise. The Golden State Warriors was a team that was interested, the Miami Heat. You've heard about the Houston Rockets and others. Well, Kevin Durant has spoken, so folks could stop speaking for him. And Kevin Durant stated emphatically that he has absolutely positively no interest in returning to the Golden State Warriors, a franchise that he helped to back-to-back championships after departing from Oklahoma City. If you remember, Kevin Durant, 2017, 2018, won back-to-back NBA titles with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green and others. I contend he would have three-peated with ease had he not torn his Achilles, and ultimately Klay Thompson didn't get hurt in that closeout Game 6. I don't think there's any chance in hell that the Toronto Raptors, led by Kawhi Leonard, would have won more than a game. I think it would have been pushing it to assume they would have won a game. I think they could have been swept, and at the very most, they would have lost in 5 games to the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors would have three-peated. But Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, was out for the next year or so. Klay Thompson, his career was ravaged for a couple of years. Golden State lost to the Toronto Raptors, and a new era had begun thereafter. Kevin Durant is a 27-point-per-game scorer, one of the elite scorers this game has ever seen. I don't blame Matt Ishbia, the owner for the Phoenix Suns, not wanting to let go of Kevin Durant. It's bad news for Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat, by the way, because he desperately wants to go to Phoenix. The Phoenix Suns have been trying to work out a trade to get him. And the reason he wants to go to Phoenix is because he wants to play with Kevin Durant. He doesn't want to go there in place of Kevin Durant. So with the Phoenix Suns unwilling to move Kevin Durant, it appears, with Kevin Durant not wanting to go to Golden State, with Phoenix stating that it has no interest in moving him, with Bradley Beal refusing to waive his no-trade clause because only him and LeBron James are the only two NBA players with a no-trade clause in their contract in this moment in time. Phoenix is what they are. They're a game above 500. They're hovering around being a 500 team. They've underachieved. There's no doubt about that. And Kevin Durant, despite his obvious, unquestionable greatness, is a man that has not won a title since departing from Steph Curry and doesn't appear as if he will win a title without Steph Curry. So you had a lot of people hoping that he would end up going back to Golden State, but according to his words, that's not something that's about to happen because you could trade for him, but why would you trade for somebody who's stating he doesn't want to be there? My position was I didn't want him to go back there because he departed from them of his own volition years ago. And if he says he doesn't want to be there with you and he leaves Steph Curry to join Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn, why would you bring him back? But desperate times call for desperate measures, and with Steph Curry still looking spectacular, he needs help, and he doesn't have enough of it. And as a result, the Golden State Warriors are just an average team with no real legitimate championship aspirations. So back to the drawing board as we approach the finality of the NBA's trading deadline scheduled for Thursday afternoon. Let me get to a subject before I get on out of here that's also very important. This is far more important than the Kevin Durant story, and it's another executive order. We're going to get back to President Trump because a new executive order he's expected to sign that would ban transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. That's the subject matter here. Sources say the order is titled, quote, "Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports," end quote. That order will establish sweeping mandates on sex and sports policy and will direct federal agencies like the Department of Justice to interpret federal Title IX rules. According to a White House document obtained by ABC News, the order would prohibit the participation of transgender girls and women in female sports categories. Sources say the executive order would also mandate immediate enforcement against schools and athletic associations that, quote, "deny women single-sex sports and single-sex locker rooms," according to the document. The order will also direct states' attorneys to identify best practices for enforcing the mandate. You may recall on his first day back in office, Trump signed an executive order asserting the federal government recognizes only two sexes, male and female, and that, quote, "these sexes are not changeable and are grounded in fundamental and incontrovertible reality," end quote. President Trump is expected to sign an order on transgender athletes today, or was expected to sign it today, at a ceremony featuring athletes, coaches, and advocates who've campaigned against transgender participation in women's sports. Sources say more than 60 attendees will join the ceremony. Let's get a couple of things out of the way first. First of all, although they're a member of the LGBTQ plus community, the reality is when you're talking about some of these cases, there's a handful of these cases existing in the United States. When you talk about transgender individuals, there's an argument, I don't know the specific number on this, but there's an argument that doesn't even make up 1% of the population. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up for several reasons. Number one, to state the record straight, regardless of how anybody feels, I agree with the president's decision on this one. I'm not apologizing for that to anybody. I support the LGBTQ plus community. I told y'all I'm conservative about a lot of things. I'm liberal about a lot of things. It's one of the things that I'm liberal about. I don't mind. Live and let live. I ain't got no problem with that. Here's what I got a problem with. For years, when we're talking about Title IX, and we're talking about equity, gender equity, and we're talking about the women being treated on the same level as men, what was embedded in our brains was being protective of females, protective of their rights similar to how we are with men. But then the transgender issue came into play, and then all of a sudden we forgot about that. If I recall correctly, Leah Thomas, the swimmer at the University of Pennsylvania, born a male, participating in swimming. She was ranked about 350th to 400th in the world. She transitioned to a woman. She number one. That's an accident? Really? Now, there was another case involving San Jose State and the volleyball team, and there wasn't even a bunch of protesters out or anything like that, but they had to forfeit like 6 games because people refused to play with them because there was rumors of a transgender athlete on their squad. And we're talking volleyball here, and I get that. I remember one time Dave Chappelle said this joke. It's Dave Chappelle now. It's not me, it's him. He said all of this argument about transgender not having any kind of effect whatsoever, and he was basically alluding to wanting to shut people up. He said, I would love if one day LeBron James woke up and said, I'm transgender, I want to be, I believe I'm a female. He said so he could average 800 points a game in the WNBA. That was Dave Chappelle's joke. That's not mine. One other point to make that's very, very important. Why don't we ever hear about someone being born female, transitioning to male to play one of the male-dominated sports? You notice how we never hear that? Why not? I'm just asking. Inquiring minds want to know. What am I missing? My point is, where's the same noise about protecting ladies? That's my issue with this. If you are a male and you are transitioning to a female, that is your business. I completely support that. You're an adult, I completely support that. You do what you have to do. But what does that have to do with you having the right to compete with females who were born female in their respective sport? See, it hits me because, and I've often said this to a lot of people. I've said this to black folks. I've said this to folks, whether you're heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, transgender, I don't care. You know what I've said oftentimes? When you're talking about civil rights and civil liberties for every human being out here, that is a fight worth fighting for. I will fight on behalf of the LGBTQ plus community any day of the week, just as much as I fight for the black community, just as much as I fight for the heterosexual community. I don't care. Right is right when it comes to your civil liberties. You know what you don't have the right to do? Insist that everybody likes you. Insist that everybody likes and is receptive to what you want them to be receptive to. There are plenty of issues that are going on in this country where we see a particular issue, and you know what we say to one another? Fine, live your life, just don't throw it in my face. Whatever that may be. I remember one time when Michael Sam was being affectionate with somebody, I was like, get a room. But I said that to 2 heterosexual couples too. In other words, live your life, fine. But people got a right to want to see what they want to see and don't want to see what they don't want to see. Who cares? But with something like this, let me be very, very clear. You're competing in sports. There can be no unfair advantage. I can simplify it for you. Do you know what else I'm against in sports? Weed. I happen to think that that's a performance enhancer. Now, y'all said, Stephen A., come on, Stephen A., you tripping. Come on, Stephen A., you tripping. Wait a minute. Competing in sports involves nerves. Some people get nervous. They get jittery. Clock, 2 minutes left in the game. Championship on the line. The ball is in your hands, and suddenly it's a little bit slippery. Suddenly you panicking. Suddenly you shifting. You don't have the poise and the control that you're accustomed to having early in the game when the pressure doesn't exist. But when it gets thick, all of a sudden, your ass get nervous. But if you smoking weed, your nerves aren't as rattled. All of a sudden, there's a calm that kicks in. And the kind of stuff that phases people normally suddenly might not faze you. If that is the effect that it has on some people by virtue of smoking weed, That is an advantage. That is an advantage. Anything is my point that gives you any kind of an advantage. Whether it's weed with what I just brought up, whether it's how you were born as a male as you transition to being a female. It's not just about you, it's about the detrimental effect it has on your competition. If you were born a male, conceivably, genetically, you are believed to have a level of strength that the other side may not have. That's an advantage. That's not speaking against anybody from that community. That's not casting aspersions on anybody. It's literally an unfair advantage. If you were born a male and you're transitioning into being a female, physically speaking, the facts show you have an unfair advantage. That's unfair to the ladies who were born ladies. It's not fair. That's all I'm saying. Nothing more than that. Anything else Trump or anybody else tries to throw into the equation, we're not going for that. We're not going to cast aspersions. We're not going to disrespect. We're not going to engage in demagoguery. We're not doing that. Not on this show. I'm only talking about from a sports perspective. You being a male and transitioning to being a female and participating in female sports, you have a decidedly unfair advantage. That's all I'm saying. That is why I have no problem with this decision by President Trump. Transgender athletes should compete against transgender athletes. Male should compete against male. Female should compete against females. Very simple. That's where I stand with it. That's all I'm saying. That's it for this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you live from Super Bowl week here in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'll be back with you tomorrow. I'll be back with a show every single day this week. I'm not going anywhere. Hope you won't either. Until next time, everybody, this is Stephen A. signing off. Peace and love.